All right, everyone. So in just a few moments here, we're going to be starting the basic walkthrough on one of our ARI CMS responsive sites. If you guys want to ask any questions as I'm going through, feel free to use the questions dot that you see down beneath the attendees there along your right side of your screen. And if that broadcast panel gets in the way at any point, in the upper left-hand corner, you can see that there is a small orange arrow you can click on to go ahead and get rid of it. We're going to answer most of the questions towards the end. However, if you have a question during, I do have a person that can answer for you. With no other delay, we'll go ahead and get started. So, first things first, when you successfully log in, this will be the very first screen that you see, known as the dashboard of your CMS editor. You should have received your login from your implementation specialist in order to get to that screen. The basics of that email that you'll receive is the very first link that is clickable. You will see a ARI-CMS address that will get you to your login screen. Next, underneath that will be your username and password that you'll type in on that screen, and then you'll either hit OK or Go down at the bottom of the screen, and this will be the first screen that you see once you successfully log in. The next thing that you'll want to do once you're in the editor is you'll want to go down to the Sites area so that you can actually pull up your guys' new site alongside the editor, and so that way you can see the changes that you're making and how exactly they're affecting your site. So down in the Sites box, you'll go over to Domains, and the address that you're looking to pull up in a brand new tab of your browser is the only one listed here with ARI build in the title. So you'll open that up in a brand new tab, and as soon as that loads, we have your new site. The very first place that we'll explore today is if we jump into New Models and New Models. Once we get into here, the first thing we'll go over is how to go through and set up the brands that we have on this initial page. Second, once someone clicks into a brand like Aaron's, Bobcat, Briggs & Stratton, how to select the specific types of equipment that you have displaying underneath each one of these. So we'll jump back to our editor. We'll click on Store and then Catalogs. Once this Catalogs page loads, you'll see your Active tab. These are all the current brands that are displaying on that New Models page. Underneath, they'll be listed in alphabetical order. And what the 6, 2, or 12 enabled means is, if we click on Aaron's, for instance, it drops down. You can first select the type of equipment that you want to see underneath that particular brand name. Then, of those types of equipment, if you want to, you can have multiple years lineups of that type of equipment as well. What you'll want to do is go through each one of these brands when you get into your editor for the first time and make sure that everything that is selected is what you guys normally have available and in stock. Once you have done that, if you decide, you know what, Ben, there's a few different brands missing from here, can I add on more? Absolutely. Click from Active to Available. This will give you a list of all the brands that we currently have available for you to add on. If we wanted to add on, let's say, Robin Subaru, you would select Robin Subaru, save changes. Then once that save goes through, click back to Active. Your new brand will be listed here in alphabetical order, but unlike the rest, it will say 0 enabled. You'll then click on your new brand you just added. Once again, select your types of equipment and years lineup of each. Once you're done selecting those, save changes. And your final step to get all this new information to display over on your site is you'll go up into the upper right-hand corner, click on Your Name, and Publish Changes. As soon as that publish goes through, you'll get a status marker down in the lower right-hand corner saying Successfully Published in green. You can click back to your site, refresh the page, and see that new brand in which you've added. Now, to make sure that Robin Subaru doesn't show up on this person's site by mistake, we'll step back to Available. We'll uncheck Robin Subaru. You can see by the color code it will be removed. Save changes. Now we'll step back to active one last time just to triple check that Robin Subaru is gone. Now when we look at the R area, it's no longer listed, so no longer listed on the site. Next, we'll jump into Store and down to Locations. The first tab that will display once the locations is pulled up is Details. This is just your guys' generic brick and mortar address, as well as some general contact information. When we initially build out these sites, we do hand type this information in, so occasionally there can be typos. So the very first thing that I would do is go through this list and make sure there's no typos. And of course, while you're here, if you want to add in extra information, feel free to do so. Next is the highly important tab of Sales and Lead Management. Over to the left, it lists out every single form that can be filled out by a customer on your site. The person and the primary email address of each will be the first one contacted when that form is filled out on the site. Anyone else beyond that individual that you also wish to receive an email, stick as many extra emails as you like down in the carbon copy field. As long as you follow our example that we give down below when typing in those multiple addresses, everything will work just hunky-dory. Next is the Optional tab. For those of you that have service pages on your site and you would like your customers to be able to schedule a service appointment with you, you want to pay attention here. With this active box unchecked, the best thing that your customers will be able to do is send you a general inquiry email to you asking about the service. If you go through and check the active box, then next to each service on your page, they'll get a button that appears that says Request Service. They'll then be able to go in and request a day, an approximate time of day, like Tuesday in the afternoon. And if that doesn't work for you, you can give them a counter suggestion of Friday in the morning, maybe. Now, just to make sure this is crystal clear, because this tends to generate a little bit of confusion with people, this doesn't start any type of interactive calendar allowing people to see available and blocked out times. It's simply allowing them to make a request. Next, we'll jump into Site and Pages. These will be for any time that you guys want to change any of the text that you have on the paragraphs on your pages. A good example of this is if we jump back to the home page of this site. Let's say you wanted to change the main opening welcome paragraph that you have down here. Here's how you would do it. Jump back to your editor, click on Site and Pages. Once you get into this page list, click on Home for the home page. Then all of your text is contained within this primary text asset up top. So to access what's in this big, ugly gray brick, we'll click on Edit. Then it jumps us into a highly simplistic text editor in which you can go in and change the text on that page. If you needed to do another page on your site for, let's say, the company info or the contact us or the map and locations, underneath Site and Pages, you would simply look for the name of that page as it's listed on your site. Next, we'll go into Site and down to Offers. This is going to control the large advertising slides that you have at the top of your homepage. First things first, let's say you just want to rearrange the ones that are already there. No problem. Click on the one that you would like to move anywhere in the green area surrounding the title of the slide, drag, and drop. It'll allow you to adjust the order. If you wish to delete one of these, uncheck the box next to the slide's title. It'll temporarily turn red. Now, because there is no green Save Changes at the top or bottom of this page, to complete that delete, you'll go up, click on your name, and Publish Changes. When you do, it'll move that deleted slide from your offer queue over to your archive. Your archive saves the same general purpose as a trash can does on your computer. Until you go and manually delete that slide out of archive, it will continue to be there. So, if you delete one of these slides by mistake, simply click over to archive, find the title of the slide that you want to add back in, click on that slide's title. You'll get this long pop-up. Scroll down to the bottom of the pop-up and click on the very happy-looking Save Offer. And it adds it back in just as it originally was. There's 3 different types of offer slides you can throw in here. We'll go through the first 2 today. First is factory promotions. Based on the brands that you have enabled in your catalog manager that we went over earlier, on a weekly basis, a selected team here at ARI will reach out to the corporate manufacturer sites, gather any sales or financing deals from those brands, and use that financing or sales information to create as many slides for each brand as they can. Currently, it says we have 6 available for errands, so we'll click on Errands. You'll pick the one that either appeals to you visually, or if there's a particular financing deal listed in here, you can go ahead and add that one in. To add one of these slides in, click on Add to Offer Queue, and just like that, it'll add it in as the last slide. Just as a heads up for you, just so you don't possibly freak out when this happens, no matter what type of slide you add in here, it's always going to add it in as the bottom one in the order. So you may need to do some adjusting after you add in some slides. Next is pre-designed offer. These are generic slides made in-house. Your largest selection underneath this area will be offer groups. This first goes through alphabetically every single brand we have information for, then alphabetically by equipment type, such as mower, commercial mower, dirt bikes, street bikes, things like that. And then buried throughout here are selected holiday slides like Memorial Day, St. Patrick's Day, Christmas, what have you. If you can't find what you're looking for after looking through factory promotions, in the first couple tabs of pre-designed slides, click down to Search. This will search through every active slide we have available and deliver results based on whatever you type in. We'll jump back out of here. Next, we'll go into Leads and Leads. We've provided this Leads area as an emergency backup to the emails that we were talking about setting up in that sales and lead management. If for any reason you get locked out of that primary email you use in which to answer leads coming from the site, you can also answer leads here in this internal leads area. However, one giant word of caution. If you do answer a lead from this internal system, it does not report that you already answered that person back to your email and vice versa. So my advice to people is pick the method that you are most comfortable with, have yourself and the rest of your employees using this tool do the exact same. That way you don't end up with any customer or employee confusion. Next is Endeavor Leads. For those of you that are migrating over from a previous Endeavor system or command center over into the CMS system, we wanted to bring in the history of leads that you had in the previous system into this one, so that way you didn't lose track of anything. So let's say you had a contact request come in 2 weeks before the system made a switch into this new responsive website. Up to 5 years of your previous history will be stored in here as soon as this new site goes live, and if you need to go back and take a look at that contact request, you certainly can. Next is Products and Inventory Manager. This is for any new, used, or new non-current unit you have in stock, on location, that you'd like to feature on the site. A majority of our users today on these responsive sites use this for used equipment only. That seems to be the trend, but you can use it for any of those groups. To add in one of these units from scratch, we'll click on Add Unit Inventory. Now, there's two ways you can go about it. There's either the manual method down beneath here. Underneath Unit Model and Details, go through line by line, type in your information. Or, if the unit is 2006 and newer, you can use the automated lookup up top. All you have to do is type in the information about your unit in the order that it specifies. So, if we go into here, we'll first start with the year. We'll go and do 2016. And since this person carries Bobcat, let's go through and see what we've got. Bobcat. Awesome. So just for the time being, we'll go through and do this E35i, extendable arm compact. Boy, I learned how to speak. Click the suggestion. When we do, it fills in as much information as it can possibly find from our database. One of the more important areas you make sure you have filled in correctly is your link to field that you see here. As long as it matches the model line that's directly above it, it's done correctly. The link to does two highly important things for you. First, it pulls in as many of the manufacturer's specifications and details as if it would have appeared on the original manufacturer's site. So things like height, width, fuel capacity, fuel type, things like that. The other thing that it does for you is it pulls in as many stock images as it can find as well, just in case you don't have your own to provide. Next is stock number and VIN. Not required to display the unit on the site. However, if you have them, I highly suggest that you type them in just for your customer's sake. Location. If you have multiple locations in which you have inventory at, you can choose from this drop-down which area this one is currently sitting at. Title and condition, regretfully, are both required. Color and trim color are not. New and used. This is purely asking, is this unit new or is it used? So we'll say it's used. What type of use is on it? Underneath usage unit, the three that we have built into the system is hours, miles, or kilometers. However, if none of these fit your particular unit, you can click on Add New and add in your own type of usage. For now, we'll go hours. We'll go 2100 hours as a usage value. Base price, if you want to type in a price, select web price and type it in the field below. Otherwise, if you just prefer people to contact you about the unit, you can select call for price instead. Best price. For some reason, this generates a lot of confusion. What this is if a manufacturer sends you a brand new unit with a stipulation that you do not list the unit on your site for anything lower than MSRP. Well, if you actually could sell that unit for lower than MSRP, type that lower price in here. Now, it doesn't immediately display on your site. However, next to the unit that you entered it for, it will display a button that says, Give me best price. Your customer will click on it. A form will pop up. They'll fill in their name and email, and when they hit submit down at the bottom, it'll send whatever price you typed in here to them in a private email. From that point on, you can begin private negotiations. Description. All good things to put in description. Bumps, dents, scrapes, any custom modifications from the last user, and at least for the field that I'm dealing with, something that's becoming more popular all the time, last-minute factory add-ons that don't normally come on this unit. We'll click Save and move on to the next mandatory area. Manage images. Now, as you can see, it pulled in as many stock images as it can find from our database. Great. If you want to use them, leave them as they are. Otherwise, the large red delete key will have these pictures gone in a matter of 2 or 3 clicks. But if you're dealing with used units, obviously you're going to want to put in your own images to better reflect the condition of that unit. So add custom images. Once the file browser comes up, it's not the most intuitive tool on the planet. So I'm going to go through it with you step by step. First, upload, select files. Once you get to the pictures on your computer, if you're looking to only import one, cool. Select that picture. Once it's listed in blue, click open, and it'll upload that one picture. If you want to do multiple at a time, select your first picture, then hold down the control key on your keyboard, select the rest of those pictures, and then hit open, and that'll allow you to import multiple at a time. For today, we'll just stick with this dorky example of this Domino's Pizza logo. Open. Once it says 100% in a full green status bar, it has been copied from your computer to this file browser. You'll click back to browse at that point. Click on that picture you uploaded one more time and choose selected, and it drops it in there. Now, obviously, you're not going to want a Domino's logo next to this Bobcat, so delete, OK, and just like that, it's gone. For controlling the order of these pictures, your primary image, the very first image that people see, will be the one that's marked with this filled-in primary dot you see over to the left. Besides that, you can use the move up and move down arrows over that to dictate which order you want the pictures to be in. Last mandatory tab of this tool, Edit Visibility. Underneath Sales Channels, just keep this in mind as I go through this. Everything underneath Sales Channels for every unit you add in, regardless of type or usage, the Sales Channels, anything underneath there, will be marked and checked by default. ARI website. As long as you want it to appear on the website, make sure this checkbox is checked. Otherwise, if this becomes unchecked, it'll only be here in the editor and not listed on the site. If that happens, it's really easy to fix. Recheck the ARI website checkbox, save, and go up and perform that publish. As soon as that publish goes through, that unit will reappear on the site where it's supposed to be. Product groups. If you want to draw extra attention to any particular unit that you put in this inventory tool, add it to one of these product groups. Then it'll show up on the bottom of your home page with its first picture, year, make, model, and price if you choose to enter one. And now for something a little bit extra, showrooms. A few months ago, when we tried to remove this legacy feature, people threw an absolute fit. Let me explain why. If we jump over to the site for a moment and we go into, let me see here, do they have an inventory tab? Well, then what we're going to do if we can't find the inventory is we're just going to go ahead and search up at top, B-O-B-C-A-T, Bobcat, and hit enter. No results. Okay, so that example kind of fell flat. But anyway, what I was trying to get to is if you do have used or new inventory listed on the site, over to the left you'll have a bunch of your typical filters like brand, usage, type, things like that. What this showroom is doing is it's adding in another thing that people can select that would allow them to make a better choice. So if you guys are doing four-wheelers or zero-turn mowers, if you have a particular four-wheeler that's great for farm work, you can add a showroom that says ATVs for farm work. And you can hand select the types that are great for farm work. The example with that zero-turn mower, let's say you have one that would be excellent for someone who is in professional landscaping. Add in one that says zero-turn professional landscaping and add a bunch of units that you think would be great for that task into that showroom. We'll jump back to here. All you have to do to add in a showroom, click into here, add the title of your showroom, and then hit the giant green plus. Then it'll produce a checkbox just like what you see for sales channels or product groups, and you can add as many units to a showroom as you please. We'll jump back to our dashboard. I'll go through a last couple things, and then I'll have my associate here open up the lines for questions as soon as I go through these last couple of things. If you guys get in here and you run into a few questions, you need some help, feel free to use any of the following 3 tools. First, technical product support. You can call in or email. We'll give you some help on what you need. Request update can be used for anything you want us to do on the site for you. All you have to do to use this feature is click on Request Update. Give us very specific instructions on what you want changed on the site. If you have any files like pictures, videos, PDF documents, Word documents you want us to use with those directions, include those down here. Then hit Request Update. 4 to 5 business days later, that change will appear on your site. And then last but not least, if you guys get off the phone today and forget any of the steps that I've gone through, click into the Help Center. This is all of our help documentation and videos that we have. A few different ways you can search through these. First, there's a search bar where you could type in like, how do I change the text on my homepage? How do I enter in a unit of inventory? Things like that. There's a list of quick links up above that search bar. And then finally, what I find to be the best and the easiest to use, pages over to the left. Now, in an effort to make it easier for all of our dealers to find the help they're looking for, we put it in the exact same order as the editor itself. So I'll go through a quick, silly example. Products. On the next page, we'll click on Inventory Manager. And then almost immediately over to the right, it'll give you a step-by-step guide on how to enter in a unit from scratch or finalize a unit if you guys are using our Lightspeed integration. Now, after you read through the written text, if it's still slightly puzzling, you can jump back to the first pages, and about 3/4 of the way down the list, we have our video tutorials. Now, just working with that example of our inventory, underneath products, almost all the way down the list, you can see a video titled Unit Inventory. It's about a 15-minute video going over every single thing that you'd ever want to know about the Unit Inventory tool. We'll jump back out of here, back to our dashboard. Now, if my associate Jacob here would unmute people's phones, we'll take any questions if you haven't already typed them in to him. Jacob?
All right, for any of those who have questions, please feel free to let me know, whether it's via chat or going over if you have a mic at this time. All right, does anyone have any questions? Does this information seem to make sense? Any questions at all from you guys?
All right, well, if there is no questions from anyone today, oh, it looks like you forgot to unmute one of the mics, Jacob. Tanya and Tim.
Looks like for Tanya and Tim, it does not recognize their mic here at this time. If you guys do have a mic and you want to, or if you have any questions, you can certainly let us know via chat. And I see that you did just send us a question here. And yes, there is a way of replaying this video. I believe that we do have this recorded, and we'll go ahead and make sure that you have access to that link.
Per your request to us, and we'll be sending out I will be sending out a follow-up email after the meeting. Per your request, we can send you a full recording of this meeting, and you can go through and watch it, skip ahead, skip backward to whatever steps that you needed. So we will be sending that out as soon as we have it available to us. Any other questions? That was a good one. All right, well, since we've got a little bit of extra time on the clock, Jacob, if you'll go through and remute everyone, I'll go through a few little extra steps you guys can take to improve the looks or functionality of your site. So if we jump back over to the site for a moment and click back to our home page, some of the things that you may want to do in the near future. Let's say you're looking at these blocks of different information here. So things like your offer slides, your logo bar, this opening paragraph. Let's say you want to move one of these elements on your home page further up or further down the page. If you wanted to do that, jump back to your dashboard, click on the name of your business or location of business. Underneath Sites, we'll go into Rows, otherwise known as the hamburger. And then here's how this breaks down. Default theme is going to be moving those elements of content that you see, those blocks of content, on every page but your home page. And then your index theme is going to be referring to moving those blocks of content on just your home page. We'll click into Sections, Main Content. Now, if you did want to move that About area further up a page above that logo bar, go to the up and down arrow to the left of that element, click, drag, and drop, and it'll allow you to drag that up. And all you would have to do is hit Save or Order and Publish, and it would move that element up further up the page. One of the other things that you can do, let's say you get onto the home page of your site, and you decide, you know what, I like the information that's in the header or the footer, but I don't particularly like how it's organized. Can I change that? Absolutely. If we jump back over to your editor, we'll click on the name of your location once again. Yes, I would like to leave without saving my changes. And underneath that Sites, this time we'll jump into one called Components. It's also marked with a puzzle piece. Now, what we're looking for in this list of components, or those physical blocks of content, is something called the header. So the header will refer to the top of your page, and if you want to change the looks of your footer, you would find Footer. Over to the right of header, we'll click on the gear or cog, and it opens this up. You have about 5 or 6 different options that you can go through here and change at any time of the year, anytime you like. We do not charge you extra for this. And you'll see the differences underneath each one on what exactly is displayed and the difference between the two. If you want to see the same options for footer, on that last page we were on, you would type in footer and click on that green cog to the right once again. Awesome. That is all the extra things that you can do. So Jacob, if you want to open up the phones one more time, and if nobody has any questions, then we will simply let everyone get back to their very busy days.
All right, if anyone has any additional functionality questions or anything else that you have thought of since then, please let us know. If not, it's been great working with you guys. Anything else?
All right, since it doesn't seem that anybody has any questions, we will let you guys get back to your respective days. I'll be sending out a follow-up email, so if you guys do want to schedule a follow-up appointment sometime in the near future, you'll be able to email me directly or use an automatic tool that I have to just schedule an appointment directly on my calendar using your internet connection. Until I talk to you guys again, thank you so much for your time, and this has been Benjamin with a general CMS overview presentation. Thank you for your time.